The gentleman from Tennessee, Mr. Rose, is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman Huizenga, for holding this incredibly important hearing, and thank you to our witnesses for being here. I know you've had a busy week. I would like to start off by saying how incredibly disappointed I have been in the Biden administration's lax on Iran policies. Iran is a longtime state sponsor of terror and a major supporter of Hamas. The unspeakable terrorist attacks that occurred in Israel by Hamas have left all of us sick over the barbarity of these atrocities committed against Israelis, Americans, and numerous other nationalities. It is crystal clear that Hamas and Hamas's benefactor, Iran, have zero regard for the sanctity of human life. It greatly concerns me that the Biden administration has recently allowed billions of dollars in Iranian funds to be transferred around the globe in an opaque and completely non-transparent manner. It is absolutely essential that Congress fully understand how these money transfers were allowed and the current status of these Iranian funds. And Mr. Chairman, I might note, we don't need necessarily more sanctions. We need the ones we have to be enforced by this administration. Now, Mr. Thomas, are you aware of any database or set of information available from Treasury that allows the public to understand where Iran's money is in the world?
I am not.
And Mr. Noronha, do you think it would be in the public interest for Treasury to publish data that will help to allow the public to understand where Iran's money is in the world?
Absolutely, and I think it would help Congress do its oversight job and not just rely on the executive branch to do what Congress tells it to do.
In September, the administration established a new humanitarian channel in Qatar to administer $6 billion in Iranian assets from South Korea. Treasury describes this channel as a way to, quote, further facilitate the flow of humanitarian assistance to the people of Iran. Mr. Thomas, is it unusual for Treasury to create a humanitarian channel? And why would Treasury need to create a humanitarian channel?
I think probably the closest analog to the humanitarian channel in Qatar was the Swiss humanitarian trade arrangement, which was set up by the Trump administration in February of 2020. That was based on October 2019 understandings between state and Treasury to basically create mechanisms to facilitate humanitarian trade into Iran. In terms of why it's necessary, I believe the intent is to give basically extra cover to private organizations, private businesses that want to participate in this trade, but otherwise might be deterred for fear of U.S. sanctions. So it's basically telling people that want to participate in this, you will not be exposed to U.S. sanctions if you participate in humanitarian transactions involving Iran. That doesn't mean that those businesses are going to participate in it, right? I mean, you can open the door, but you can't force anybody to walk through. And my understanding with the Swiss humanitarian trade arrangement is that only several transactions were processed through it.
Is there a stark difference between a humanitarian channel and other escrow accounts that are available to Iran for humanitarian trade purposes?
It's difficult to say with respect to the humanitarian channel in Qatar. As you said, that was announced by the Treasury Department in mid-September. And as of early October, it appears that the circumstances surrounding those funds have changed, although, as I note, the administration has not made an official statement on the status of those funds. Based on the arrangements that governed the Swiss humanitarian channel, I would imagine that that basically it's increased due diligence requirements on the financial institutions involved in processing those transactions.
In your opinion, is there enough information publicly available on the humanitarian channels to understand how effective they have been in the past or how this one might be in getting the appropriate assistance to Iranian citizens themselves?
I think we already see Congress starting to take this up as an oversight mechanism. I would point you to H.R. 5826, which was marked up in the House Foreign Affairs Committee last week. That legislation would require biannual, every 6 months, reports from the administration specifically on the $6 billion in Qatar. But I don't think there's any reason why Congress couldn't broaden that reporting requirement to try to have more visibility, as Mr. Noronha said, into where those funds are and what the status of them is.
Thank you. I see my time is about to expire, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.